Well, we're joined on the Climate Change TV studio with Tom Youngman from the UK Youth Climate Coalition. Tom, what are your hopes for the next 2 weeks? What are you up to, and what are your hopes?
Well, I'm here with a delegation of 10 other young people from the UK, and we're here for two reasons. We're here to obviously campaign on climate change and press for a fair, ambitious and legally binding deal through a number of ways, and as well as building the international youth climate movement and coming together with young people from across the world to really unite and be more effective in our campaigning. Over the past 4 days we've been here, but at the weekend we're at the Conference of Youth at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and there we've kind of built capacity within the movement and really been hugely excited, and I've met hundreds of people from not only around the world but loads of people from Durban as well, and it's really been exciting to inspire them and enthuse them on climate change.
And you talk a bit about building capacity. What sort of capacity do you feel you and your fellow delegates have to influence the diplomats and negotiators over there in the International Conference Centre?
I think it's a question that's often asked of us, and people do doubt that we can make change, but it's undeniable that we really do. Just this morning, we had an intervention, a 2-minute speech in the Kyoto Protocol negotiations. Although it's only 2 minutes and it's in a room full of lots of people that may not be listening that carefully, it really does have an impact. We did a speech with a very different tone to all the others delivered, and we can deliver an emotional, a moral perspective, a long-term perspective that other delegates can't. And that was really powerful. You could tell in the room that the feeling had slightly changed after our speech, and we got a bigger round of applause than any other speech delivered, and that was really exciting.
So you think that despite all the political and economic factors that may influence delegates' decisions over the next 2 weeks, you think that interventions like that can actually sway them a bit, can actually make them think, well, maybe this process is worth saving?
Yes, sure, and I think even more than the interventions, about the personal relationships we build, and every delegation here has been attempting to meet their negotiators and really hold them to account, but not only hold them to account, but forge a friendship and forge a relationship. Like, everybody here is here to solve climate change, 99.9% of people here, I think, and we really need to unite and recognise that we have common interests. And I think that's what young people have been doing. We've been working, we've been trying to talk to our negotiators as allies, and recognising that they have a massive role to play here, and they're in it for the same reasons as us.
Now, you're from the UK delegation. How can you hold the likes of Chris Hoon, Greg Barker, John Ashton, the lead climate negotiator out here, how can you hold them to account? What tools do you have to let them know when they go back home after this that you're still going to be watching and following what they do?
Well, like I said before, every delegation, all the youth delegations have been attempting to meet their negotiators. We're hoping for a meeting next week with our negotiators, and we've already secured a meeting with Chris Hoon, and there we'll be pressing him to take a lead within the EU and take a lead in the world on climate change, and ensure that his domestic policies match the policies stance he's taken globally. We've got really strong targets in the long term. Our 80% cut by 2050 is a great target, but we need to take action now that withstands that. He needs to take a stand against countries that are looking in the short term to refuse action on climate change, and especially let the Kyoto Protocol die. At home, there's all sorts of things we've been doing. I'm actually a member of a youth advisory panel at the Department for Energy and Climate Change, and within that we've got a strong presence, and we can really hope to make change there, and that's an initiative that the UK Youth Climate Coalition have been involved in. So our campaigning isn't reserved for here. In the Conference of Youth, we've heard about young people from around the world doing different things. So the Australian Youth Climate Coalition have been really critical in the carbon tax campaign they've been running, which was just highlighted by the Australian delegate in the long-term corporate action negotiations. So the young people really are integral, and they've been in the climate movement on all levels.
Okay, and a final question. Your fabulous T-shirt. I love the Kyoto Protocol. Many people out there say this is a protocol, this is a treaty that's just not doing the job it was intended to. It might as well be scrapped. 20 seconds. Why should we keep it?
Sure, it doesn't cover every nation. Sure, it's not perfect, but it's what we've got. And we really can't let there be a gap between treaties. More than the Kyoto Protocol, I want a strong, legally binding deal that really saves us from climate change in the next few years. And I see Kyoto Protocol as a bridge to that. The Kyoto Protocol enables there to be no gap. A second commitment period would enable no gap between treaties, and would enable the confidence in not only young people around the world, but in economies to invest in sustainable solutions and renewable energy.